All right, guys. So it's that video where we get to pull our hair out because we're dealing with the wiring part of this, and to some people that is probably the thing that they're scared of the most. And honestly, that was the thing that probably took the most time for me to figure out, because you have to search it and everything, because not all builds are the same. Not every S10 is the same. I think I got some black under my eye there. I don't know. Anyways, so what I've done so far is I've already drilled a too big of a hole to start with. So that's good. I mean, plus there, I could have swore I measured 2.5 inch, drilled it out. Nope, I do believe that is a 2 inch. So, first mistake, but hey, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. It's still going to work out just fine. But what we're going to use, because some of you mentioned that these are garbage, and I mean, it looks like garbage. It kind of has that garbage feel to it. So, we're going to go with a new upgraded one. And as you can see, I've already added a little bit because there's going to be some power coming in. And the way we're going to be doing this, these are all stuff that's actually going to be getting just hardwire in direct. So then there's going to be a couple other things here, like the fuel pump going to get a spot, and then the lights will get a spot. So everything's going to get a little spot there. And but yeah, as you see, I got the relays here too. So that's the starter relay. These are the two fans. So instead of the fan relays being right there, which is terrible, and instead of this being right here, I think I'm going to mount it like right here. So it's kind of in the same area as that, because what's going to happen is some of the wires that are inside there that are part of this standalone wiring harness are actually going to come out through here and come over to this area, because they got to tie in to these fuses. Now the two fan ones are already out there, so that's not a big deal. The starter one that's nearby, and then also the TCC relay is going to be right here probably, so that one's also going to get something as well. So but that one doesn't require a fuse because it's pulling power from the fused lights that are going to be here, because it takes, it's the whole, we'll explain that when we get to there. So but first what we're going to do is we're going to remove all this crappy wiring and all of that, because I've already taken everything from here and transfer it over to there. That's what you have there. And so like I said, all this does not even matter anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I mean, I'll keep these connected to where they are, just because I might need reference as to where some of the other connections go. But like I said, I'm just pulling this all out. Okay, so this is what we've got. So first off, take a look at that. Check a look. So check out and take a look at the same time. But all this nice wiring right here looks so good. It's all nice and neat. Doesn't look like it used to. And so I've also added in a nice little ground lug right here. It looks pretty solid, so it gives me a nice centralized location. And I can easily take it out and put a longer one in if I decide to, which I may end up doing that, because that was just kind of what I had. Let's see. Yep, remember the hole's too big. Yep, can't forget that. But this is what everybody's come here for, is all the wiring. Now these two relays right here are only if you have an automatic. Now if you have a T56 or some sort of manual transmission, you can just go ahead and skip on past, and we can get to the fans or any of the other stuff. But basically this is all for automatic people, because this is the TCC, which sends the signal to the computer to let it know when you're hitting the brake, so that it knows when to mess with the torque converter. I can't remember if it locks it or unlocks it. I think it locks it maybe, but that's the point of the TCC relay. The starter relay is because the neutral safety switch requires a ground being sent to the starter, and without that it won't start. So this is a way of acting as that.
So, and obviously these two down here are going to be for the two fans. You have one for each fan. If you were doing dual speed, you would still have two relays. You would have one for one speed, one for the second speed. And then obviously you have relays. Fuses over on this side. But let's see, we got power coming into those fuses and whatnot right here with this power, and then these are the wires coming out of the relays over there for the fans. They're going to control, obviously the long one goes to the furthest fan away. But let's talk about wiring up. Let's say you have an automatic and you need to wire up that starter relay. Okay, so on pin 30, we're just going to use this as a reference so you can see. So pin 30 is this long one right here, and so that one actually is the wire that is actually going to be going out of here and going over to the starter solenoid, and that is what's going to actually activate it. So, and then 85, which is this one right here, that is going to be the ground. So I actually had like a few grounds that came over here with a heavier gauge ground that ran over there, and so I just broke off from there. And then so 86, which is this one right here, which is the other one opposite 85, that one is actually going to be for whenever you're going to have to find the wire on the dash, or coming off the ignition switch, that is whenever you turn the key in the start position, it should be hot. Only in the start position should it be hot. And that's what's going to tie into right here. Now for me, it was a white wire. Some people, it's a purple wire. You may just have to get down there with your meter and just find out. Like I said, not all vehicles are the same. So, and then this wire right here, this would be 87. This is actually going to be your constant hot from the fuse block. Yeah. So I actually have a starter, this 20 amp over here. This is actually the fuse for 87. So it just comes, one of these wires is what comes over here and feeds that right there. So that takes care of the starter solenoid, or starter relay, I should say. That way, like I said, only if you have an automatic. Alright, so the TCC. Now, the reason why you need this, and maybe I explained it, but I'll explain it one more time. This is actually what activates your torque converter. So you need this for an automatic. 30, which is the long one right here. That one is actually going to be the wire that comes out of your computer. That is the TCC ground. That is going to tie into right here. That is going to let it know that you hit the brakes. And the reason why you have to have this is because the relay works in a certain way that allows it to send the signal that it needs. Okay, so 87A. So we're not going to be using this one down here. We're actually going to be going to the middle one. So 87A is going to be a 12 volt when the key is hot. So now it doesn't specify that it needs to be a fused one. So you can easily just come off of any hot source and go to 87A. Unlike the starter solenoid, 86 is this one right here, which is, this was the ground on the starter solenoid. This one is actually going to be the ground on the TCC. So 86 is the ground, and 85 is actually the wire that is coming from whenever you hit the brakes and you get 12 volts coming out of the brakes, that's that wire right there. So that's going to be 85. And I'm going to show you right now where that wire is. Okay. So this is your brake switch right here. Now, hopefully you have a 4-post, but honestly it didn't seem to matter for me. Everybody kept reading stuff about this purple wire, and maybe I'll retest it, but I kept getting nothing off of this purple wire that everybody kept telling me to use. What I actually found was this white wire right here that is on the same area as these orange wires, which if you know anything about Chevys, I don't know if it's the way with other ones, but orange is always switched. So if you ever see an orange wire, you know that's a switched wire, unless it's like, coming out of the computer. That's a whole nother thing. But wires like this, orange is always switched. And so if you have an unmolested one like that hasn't been, gutted, as mine has, then what you will want to do is just take some sort of Scotch lock and just tie into your wire. Now, the way you can find out is just hit the brake and see which one is giving you voltage whenever you hit the brake, because you want the one that's sending it out to the brakes whenever you hit it. So that's why you're tying it. For me, it was this wire, and so that's what I tied into. And then for me, I actually just supplied voltage over to one of these orange wires, a fused one that allowed me to have it. Now I'll tie this one up and get it out of the way, but for right now, that's going to work just fine. Okay, so while we're in here, now if you got a standalone wiring harness, then it obviously came with two relays, and those two relays are your fuel pump and your ignition relay. So if you're wondering how to hook those up, the ignition relay, you'll have a tiny red wire coming off of the ignition relay, that one right there. You are going to tie that into the pink wire that is coming out from your dash right here, coming out from right here. There's a pink wire, one of these lovely wires right here. There's a pink one in here, a big old pink one, and that's the wire. It is going to be on at run and start, and so that's the one that you want. And let's see here. Then this is the fuel pump. Now the thing about the fuel pump, you're gonna want, so obviously you're gonna be upgrading your fuel pump, right? You're gonna be going with some sort of Walbro, maybe not, maybe something bigger, who knows? So you're gonna need to upgrade the wires that go all the way back to the pump. And if you got a standalone wiring harness, typically the wire that comes with it is not quite capable of what you need. So you will have to repin it with a bigger wire. So, as you can see, I have this big, huge hunking wire right here that runs all the way from there all the way out. So, if you're wondering how it wires up, let's see here. I'm gonna have to redo that. I can see that wire coming out right there. I'm gonna have to redo that. But that is 87 that goes to the pump. This is 85 that goes to the ground. That is 86 where that green wire is, and that is going from the computer that tells it, because the pump is controlled by the computer. And then there's a wire missing that goes right here, and that is a power source. So I gotta find out what the heck happened to that. That's interesting. It's around, but yeah, I gotta redo that. As you can see, that wire is coming out. That is, yeah, I'll take care of that. No big deal. But that is how that gets wired up. And the ignition relay, honestly, let's see here. I could look at it and tell you. So it looks like you have a constant power on 30 coming from looks like it's coming from the starter, that lug on the starter. And then it looks like 85 is the ground, and looks like 86 is the power coming from from the ignition switch. And then it looks like 87 is a fused power coming from the fuse box. So, hey, I think that's all the wiring. And as you can see, I tried to put little images of each thing I was talking about down right there in that area. Hopefully I was a little bit more detailed. I was watching it. I actually came out here after editing because I listened to myself and I was like, wow, what was that mumbly jumbly crap that dude just said? So that's why I'm back out here. I still haven't hooked up any of my injectors because that's going to be a whole nother video. Not really the injectors, but the fuel system. But we'll get into that. All right, so you've gotten all the wiring done, and now it's time to get the computer. And you're probably asking yourself, well, where can I get me one?
do I go to the junkyard to get one? Do I get one on eBay? Do I get one that's already unlocked? What do I do? Well, you have many options, honestly. You can go on eBay, and there are many people that have unlocked them and put them out there, and you can get one of those if your plan is just to put the V8 in there, and that's it. Like, you don't plan on doing anything else other than that. Then that's what you do, because you don't need anything else. But if you plan on doing more, then maybe you can still get that computer, but maybe you get a remote tune, or you send the computer off to get it a generic tune put on by Black Bear or one of whoever else is out there now. I think that are they even doing it? That's who was doing it back when I was looking at it. And then maybe you go get the Holly. Now the Holly is expensive. It's really expensive. So if you have that kind of money, then kudos. But there's also FI Tech. It's cheaper. It's still expensive. And then you get down to there's HP tuners, which is what I went with. Because with the HP tuners, I was able to go to a junkyard, spend $20, get a computer. Then I spent $100 to unlock it. And then I found out that I unlocked the wrong computer and had to take it back and get the right one and spend another $100 to unlock the right computer. And then, yeah. So that's where we're at. But that's why you always want to make sure that if you can, when you buy your engine, if you can get the computer that goes with it, then yeah, obviously go ahead and do that. But if you can't, then go to the junkyard, try to find one similar. In my case, I actually found one like exactly similar. It actually was the same one I got the injectors for, because I actually went to the junkyard and got the injectors for this girl. So don't be afraid to go to the junkyard. You do not actually have to get the same exact one. They just have to be similar. I mean, these 6.0s, I think they did change some injectors that along the years, so you may have to change out some injectors to match up with the computer so it's running right. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I had mentioned in a previous video, one LS Swap video, was that you could get the computer out of 4.3, and that is true. They do have the same computer. However, it's not that simple. There's more to it. You have to, because yes, you can go to the drop down menu and choose 5.3, 6.0, 4.8, all of those, 8.1, but it doesn't change the tune. It doesn't like it. It's not like it stores all those tunes in there. It just says, "Hey, this is what's in there now," and it knows the firing order, but that's about it. And so the 5.3 that was in there was running off of 4.3 stuff. So that's why it ran like garbage. But this one won't do that. This one has the right computer. So there was a viewer that he was just like, "Man, that thing doesn't sound right," and he was dead right. I hope he's still watching. Maybe he's not, but he was dead right. This thing, it did not sound right, and that was the reason why. So that's gonna do it for it, and I thank you guys just for clicking on the video, and hopefully this was helpful. I tried to be as detailed as possible because there's a lot to it, and yeah. So thank you guys, and see you later.